Believe it or not, your FICO score or credit score is your key to home ownership. Nobody talks about it, but it's very important that you know about this.
Believe it or not.
In this video, I'm going to show you or talk about what's the minimum credit score you need to buy a house, and as a bonus, even show you 2 or 3 tips at the end of this video on how to improve your FICO score or to take your FICO score from here to here. As you may know, credit scores are a measure of how much you can be trusted when someone lends you the money. Lenders use it to gauge on the risk of lending to you, and they also use the FICO score to see how much they can charge you, not only on your interest rate, but also other fees involved. So credit scores is a big issue. It is a big deal when it comes to housing because buyers need to get a loan in order to purchase a house. And buying a house is one of the most and biggest transactions you will ever make. And the FICO score is right there in the front. Credit scores range anywhere from 300 up to 850. In general, 580 is a good benchmark on getting a loan. Lower than 580 will cost you more, or the risk factor is more, so the lenders will be a little bit wary. If you are 800 or more, lenders will be glad to give you a loan with ease. A 580, as I mentioned earlier, is a decent score. 670 is good. 760 is exciting. And anything over 800 is here we go. Please comment below and let us know what you are doing to improve your credit scores or what has worked for you, if you had done this or if you are thinking about improving your FICO score. We would like to share your comments with other buyers just like yourself. So the big question is, what credit score do I need to get a loan? And it all depends on what type of loan you will get. So let's explore that. Conventional loans are the most common loans out there. They are not backed by any government programs. They are private loans. Usually, these conventional loans would like to see anything over 620 FICO score, and the better your FICO score, the better rates you will get. They would also like to see that you put at least a 3% down, whereas 5 and 10% is very common in getting a conventional loan. If your score is under 620, that does not mean you cannot get a conventional loan. It's just that if it's lower, the lenders are taking more risk giving you the loan, so they may charge you a higher interest rate because they are taking a higher risk, and they may also charge you a little bit more points and fees, etc., because it's all about the risk factor they are taking in giving you a loan for at least 30 years or so. If for some reason your credit score is below 620 or below 600, then what you might want to do is go for the FHA loan, which is the Federal Housing Administration loan. In this loan program, your credit score can be 580 or less, or somewhere near 580. Of course, each lender is different, so it depends who you go to. And you also need maybe just 3.5% down, so you don't need a lot of down payment. And sometimes, if you ask the seller, if you don't have enough down payment, you can have the seller give you some closing cost or even repair cost or even some other help with your down payment, which can be worked out with your lender. Of course, I'm not a lender, but if you want specific information, talk to a lender or direct message me and I can refer you to top lenders nationwide. With the FHA loans, which is very common with the first-time home buyers, one of the requirements is that you have to be a first-time home buyer. In other words, you cannot buy a house with an FHA loan as an investment property or a second home. If you are a vet or a service member or a qualified spouse, there is no minimum on how much you can get to get a loan. You can get loans with 0% down, but again, most lenders would want to see about 580 scores. And if you're way too low, you can still get a loan, but you will pay a price in terms of higher interest rate and higher closing cost. Even though the VAs, when they buy, there's no upfront cost, but you're going to end up paying somewhere down the road in your 30-year loan. But anything is possible with a 580 score or 600 score or even less than 580 score. Each lender is different. Each lender's requirements are different, and each lender takes different risk to give to different buyers. Now that you know what kind of loan programs out there, do you know what your FICO score is? If you don't know what the FICO score is, in the description, I have a link. This link will give you a free credit report, and the link is approved by the federal laws. So check out the link. It's in the description. So now that you have checked your credit score and you know what your credit scores are, and now that you are thinking of buying a house, you may want to improve your score. Even if it's 760, you can improve it to 800, or if it's 580, you want to take it up. So let's look at some of the things you can do to improve your score. But before I show you on how you can improve your FICO score, I wanted to show you the impact of what FICO score has on your interest rates. Let's take a look at this. Let's look at this chart. It says that the higher your score is, the less you'll pay to borrow money. Generally, 620 is the minimum credit score needed to buy a house, with some exceptions for government-backed loans, as I mentioned to you earlier. This information is from the company FICO score, and it shows you that the average interest rate by credit level here's the average interest rate by credit level for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage of $300,000 as of February 2024. It explains to you the difference of rates that you get. If your FICO score is 620 to 639, the current interest rate, national APR, is 8.211%, which seems a little bit high, and it is high right now. If your FICO score is, let's say, 660 to 679, the interest rate they charge on the same loan drops to 7.35%. Quite a bit of significance and quite a bit of change. If your FICO score is 700 to 759, that interest further drops to 6.844%. And if your FICO score is higher than 760 and up to 850, your rate could be as low as 6.622%. Compare that with getting it at 8.211%. That's a big difference in the interest rate and the money you charge. Remember, you are paying $100 more, $200 more because your FICO score is less, and you are paying this every month for the whole year for up to 30 years. So even if you can save $50 by improving your credit score, it goes a long way. You can save thousands and thousands of dollars over the life of your house. And usually most home buyers today in this economy stay at least 10 years in their house before they make a move. So improving that credit score is very critical. Not only will you save $50 a month, but you could save $300 a month, depending on your score and the amount of loan. Working with a trusted lender is the best way to get information on how your interest rate will be factored when you are getting a certain type of loan or when you are trying to buy a house and getting a certain loan. Let's look at this quote from FICO. While many lenders use credit scores like FICO scores to help them make lending decisions, each lender has its own strategy, including the level of risk it finds acceptable. There is no single cutoff score used by all lenders, and there are many additional factors that lenders may use to determine your actual interest rates. As I mentioned earlier, nobody mentions it, but the first thing you have to do is work on improving your credit score. If you have 750, you may want to get it over 760. If it's under 580, get it over near 620 or more. And there are ways to improve your score. Let's talk about that. The first thing you can do is to pay off your debt or reduce your debts. Chip away. If you have a car payment, if you have credit card bills, if you have medical bills, drop that loan amount on each bills so that you can get rid of those payments. So the first thing is lower your debt no matter what. The second thing you can do is do not miss your payments on any bills. If you need a reminder, have your mom call you every day and remind you to pay your bills, or put it on auto pay, auto bill pay, so you never forget. Being late on your bills affects your FICO score in a significant way. The third thing you have to do, or the third thing you don't have to do, is before you buy a house, don't add more credit, don't add more debt to your portfolio or to your loan amounts. If you're thinking of buying a car, maybe you want to wait. If you want to buy furniture, appliances, wait until you buy after you purchase a home, because the more debt you have, then your debt ratio increases, and that affects your interest rate that you charge or how much loan you can get. In other words, it may affect the amount of home you can buy. So reduce your amount of debts if you are thinking of buying a house in the next 3 months, 6 months, a year, and just live with what you have and then buy the stuff after you purchase a home. The fourth thing you can do is, if you are having a hard time getting a loan, or they're charging you very high interest rates or high points and fees, you may want to get a co-signer. Maybe your parents can sign for you. One of the siblings can sign with you, and maybe after 2 or 3 years, when you improve your credit score, you can refinance. But be cautious. Talk to your accountant. When you get a co-signer, it will affect how you take title and your tax benefits and tax consequences. So I recommend that you talk to an accountant. By the way, let's say your FICO score is 580, and so you get a co-signer and their FICO score is 760. So if you average them out, then your average score is 670. So now instead of getting a loan based on a 620 score, you're getting a loan based on 670 score, which will get you a better interest rate and fees that they charge you. How much house can you buy? It depends on your FICO score. It depends on your debt that you have. It depends on the income that you have. So if you want to find out how much you can afford, I did a video. The link is right here. It talks about how much housing you can actually afford. Check out this video. If you are considering buying a house, if you need help improving your score, if you need help to understand the whole process of buying a home, direct message me. I can refer you to a lender or refer you to a realtor in your neighborhood. I belong to the top referral network in the nation, and I can get you the best lender or the best realtor. Direct message me. And thanks for watching my videos.